am talking about Scottish beer again, but this time it isn't 80 shilling. I've moved on to 70 shilling. And because 70 shilling didn't exist as a shilling ale, that's the older type of Scottish beers which were brewed before the English styles came in, really. So these were the original ales of Scotland. And there wasn't a 70 shilling one. They jumped from 60 to 80 shilling. And so 70 shilling only comes into existence after World War One, where it's what they call a sevenpenny per pint beer. Though some breweries did just call it a 7 a pint beer in their brewing records. They loved naming beers after prices in Scotland. And so this is a typical 70 shilling of the interwar period. So it's got a gravity of about 1048. Not the greatest attenuation, but reasonable. It's just a tad under 70%. And it leaves it about 4.5% ABV, which is still a pretty decent strength for a beer of the time. It's a very typical interwar recipe in that it consists purely of pale malt, an adjunct, and some sugar. The pale malt, yeah, there's a couple of different types of that. The flake maize, that's the typical adjunct of the time. That's what most people use. You've probably seen, if you've looked at my other ones, that Younger's used grits, but that's pretty unusual. I've only come across a couple of UK breweries that did that. Most of them used the maize in flake form, presumably because it was much easier to handle. You just stick it into the mash tun. You didn't need any extra equipment to do a cereal mash. The sugar, well, some's just described as invert, which is pretty vague. And the rest is something called dextrolevulose, which is a type of partially fermentable fructose syrup. So that's sort of like invert as well. So I've substituted number two invert for both of them. The top hops are a total guess, as Usher couldn't be bothered to note what they were at this period. So I've guessed English because that's what most hops were that we used at the time. There weren't a huge deal imported because lots were imported before the war. But with the reduction in gravity and the reduction in beer production, the UK didn't need as many hops, and so was able to provide most of the hops from ones that were grown locally. So I'm guessing they were probably mostly Kent hops, but I could be wrong. There might have been a few foreign hops in there, but that is, again, is just be pure guesswork. The hopping rate is fairly low if you compare it to English pale ales, especially ones in London. It's only about 70% of the hopping. And I'm pretty sure this beer would have been a good bit sweeter than equivalent English beers because of the higher finishing gravity and the fact that the hopping was a bit lower. Another type of beer where World War II knocked down the gravity. So after World War II, this would be about 1036, 1037, typically ordinary bitter strength. And that's what these beers were. They were the Scottish equivalent of an English ordinary bitter. Beers like this are still around today. There's still some brewed. I'm not quite sure who by, but I'm sure Belhaven still have one. And yeah, they're no pretty pleasant beers, the ones I had in the past. And I'm sure they still are, as long as you get them in cask form. None of that evil keg rubbish. That's me done again for today, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.